Now the man, Adam, knew Eve, his wife, and she conceived and gave birth to Cain. And she said, I have attained a man, a baby boy or a son, with the help of the Lord. Now the man, Adam, and later she gave birth to his brother Abel. And she conceived and gave birth to Cain, kept the flocks of the sheep and goats. I've attained a man. But Cain cultivated a baby boy or a son. And in the course of time, now the man brought to the Lord an offering of fruit of the ground. But Abel brought an offering of the finest firstborn of his flock, and the fat portions. And the Lord had a respect or regard for Abel, and for his offering. But for Cain and his offering he had no respect. So Cain became extremely angry and indignant, and he looked annoyed and hostile. And the Lord said to Cain, Why are you so angry? And why do you look so annoyed? If you do well, believing in me and doing what is acceptable and pleasing to me, will you not be accepted? And if you do not do well, but ignore my instruction, sin crouches at your door. It's desirous for you to overpower you, but you must master it. Cain talked with Abel, his brother, about what God had said. And when they were alone and working in the field, Cain attacked Abel, his brother, and he killed him. Then the Lord said to Cain, Where is Abel your brother? And he lied and said, I don't know. Am I my brother's keeper? The Lord said, What have you done? The voice of your brother's innocent blood is crying out to me from the ground for justice. Now you are cursed from the ground which has opened its mouth to receive your brother's shed blood from your hand. When you cultivate the ground, it shall no longer yield its strength. It will resist producing good crops for you. You shall be a fugitive and a vagabond, roaming aimlessly on earth, in perpetual exile without a home, a degraded outcast. Cain said to the Lord, My punishment is greater than I can bear. Behold, you have driven me out this day from the face of the land, and from your presence, I will be hidden, and I will be a fugitive and an aimless vagabond on earth, and whosoever finds me will kill me. And the Lord said to him, Therefore whoever kills Cain, a sevenfold vengeance, that is punishment 7 times worse, shall be taken on him by me. And the Lord set a protective sign on Cain, so that no one who found or met with him would kill him. So Cain went away from the manifested presence of the Lord and lived in a land of Nod, wandering in exile east of Eden. The blood of his brother, who was killed innocently, cries out for vengeance to God. The Lord thy God is the same yesterday, today, and forevermore. Indeed, he deals with us the same way now that he dealt with Cain and Abel. And he told the truth in this passage. Basically, Cain reacted off of his feelings. He gave an offering that he was rejected for by God, the ultimate power. He was rejected by God. He reacted off his anger and killed his brother. But it didn't stop there, because his brother was crying out to God. His blood was crying out to God from the ground. Vengeance is the Lord's, not ours. Now, this is a special recording that I'm doing because I wanted to get points across and I wanted to do it right. So I have to do this in segments and record it and then live cast it. So the way I got it was today we have people taken to the streets because of their anger. They want justice. They're not crying to the Lord. They're not crying to the right one. The blood of these men that have been killed, that blood is crying up to the Lord. Is it innocent blood? I don't know. I wasn't there. Were you? Were you there to see exactly what went on? Oh, but we have videos. We have videos of everything that went on with all these cases. There's videos. What happened before and what happened after? Do you know? Were you there? Believe none of what you hear and only half of what you see. Because the other half that you don't see, it's probably the half that actually got these people in trouble. Now, I, like you, and like everybody around the world, not just the USA, I have my opinion and my heart where I am judging the situation, not the people. And I can say, with George Floyd, did he do drugs? Yes. Did he pass a $20 note? They say he did. I didn't watch the court. I wanted to. Did he have drugs in his system when he passed away? Yes. Did he have heart disease? Yes. I did watch that. Did he resist arrest? Yes. Did he appear in distress when he was resisting arrest? And I'm not talking about when he was on the ground. That's a separate issue for me. He seemed to me like a broken man. He was high on drugs and he was reacting off of the drugs. The fact that he knew he had a past. The fact that he did get arrested other time. And he was freaking out. And to me, only to me, because I have panic attacks, it looked like the guy was having a panic attack. For what, I don't know. I don't know anything about his life. And this is all separate than when he was on the ground. Because when he was on the ground, that stuff, doesn't make it right that he died. He was a criminal in the eyes of the justice system. He had a record in the eyes of the justice system. When this first happened, it came out that him and the officer who is accused of killing him had a history together, and it wasn't just the police versus the man on the street that was doing illegal stuff. They had a history of other things, and they didn't like each other. The length of time that cop's knee was on the neck is disgusting. The fact that he didn't turn him over when he stopped breathing and perform CPR to honor his badge is disgusting. Because that's what they're supposed to do. No, George Floyd did not deserve to die. He did a lot of crazy things in his life. He made mistakes. He tried to get himself out, then he fell. Then he tried to pick himself back up, and then he fell again. Like he tried to pick himself up again, and now he fell and he passed away. He didn't deserve what he got. So you see, I too have an opinion about what happened that night. I too can get emotionally charged up with that. I got borderline. I am diagnosed with borderline. My emotions run rampant. If he lives in that town, and his girlfriend was from that town, and his kid is from that town, because he has a kid there, and these people went in with their drumming and their protests, and torched the town. They burned places in that town. They looted, killed small businesses that people work hard for. Some of those small businesses were run by black people. And his kid, and his friends, and his ex, or his girlfriend, or whatever she was, is still in that town. So they lost not only somebody that is dear to them, a family member. Without judgment, he was the father of that child and was the boyfriend of that girl. They loved him very much. And hopefully they still love him very much. It wasn't bad enough that they were a victim of his violent death. Was it enough for you guys that are out there in the streets that they're tortured inside? It wasn't enough? You had to go and burn the town that they live in down? You coming from out of town had no place to go there and burn shit down. Excuse my language. Acting off my anger. You took a lot of people's businesses that didn't have anything to do with the justice system, and you burned them. You hurt people. You victimized them. You're no better than the cop that sat on that neck. You're re-traumatizing that child over and over and over again. She's trying to heal from her daddy's death. And you're traumatizing her over again because you're in her town and you're trying to burn and loot it down again. What gives you the right? Oh, I get it. Our streets. Whose streets? Our streets. No, it ain't your streets. You don't live there. You don't work there. You don't have a business there. Those aren't your streets. I know what I read about George Floyd's family and compensation and all that. Okay, I don't know what the truth is. Nobody does unless you're them. But you're so quick to sit there and use George Floyd's name, who is dead, who needs to rest in peace. Don't call his name. God's got his name. His blood's crying out from the ground. Vengeance will be God's. God will instill vengeance. You don't have to. Not your place. It's not your place. You're re-victimizing that child over and over and over again. You can't let it rest. You can't let him rest in peace. You can't let those children, that child, heal. Peaceful protests, yes. However, those protests are not turning, they're turning into violence. And if you are peaceful and you're going out and protesting, you can blame all the people that are getting violent that are around you for the way I feel and others feel. Those businesses are not compensated for having to rebuild. Those towns cannot get government funding to rebuild. And then they're trying to fine the business owners because the business owners haven't picked up after the millions of dollars that you took from them. Get it? These people with small businesses spend all their money on the small businesses. And yet you go in and destroy those lives too. It's not enough that a baby is mourning the death of her daddy. You had to go and ruin her town. That is my anger. And Black Lives Matter can sit there and say they're for black business owners all they want. Who has? I have not seen anything in the news, and it's that vague that if it happened in the news, it would be saying it. Has Black Lives Matter actually helped one black business owner in Minneapolis with funding to rebuild their business after they went in and torn it down? And don't tell me it wasn't them, it was Antifa. Because they didn't separate themselves in the beginning from Antifa. So they're just as guilty. And if they haven't helped this town and this baby who lost her daddy and this mommy who's grieving, God's justice will be on them. I'm not judging. I'm saying the fact. Because they used his name to destroy where his family and friends live. They re-victimized the already victimized victims of that crime. And they're doing what Satan does. They're telling half-truths about what things are. They are Marxists. They are trained Marxists. I will get to that later. But in Marxism, you'd be surprised to know who Karl Marx actually put on a pedestal. And it wasn't God. And you will be surprised about the leaders of this organization and what they practice. And every time they say their name, you're conjuring up the dead. You are doing something God hates.